microphone, going into a Zoom, going into my phone. I have this weird little $20 cooling fan I got on Amazon for my phone. And my phone is in airplane mode, but it has Wi-Fi. It's via a Peplink Transit Duo Pro router. So I'm curious if this will work. So mobile live streaming has always looked like shit. But I'm thinking if I keep the phone cold, the phone is cold, it's plugged in, and it's using a separate piece of equipment for the actual transmission. Does that make it suck less? Like I'm trying to take all the suck out of mobile YouTube live streaming. One way to find out. So, so what I wanted to go over today was morality and profit. Something that is often discussed is how companies will go out of their way to take immoral action to make more money, and how bad this is. And one of the things that I've noticed in life is that some of the most immoral actions wind up getting taken by companies that are not profitable. And there's an instinct. It's kind of somebody made a comment saying this company that I'm talking about, it's Dragonfly Energy. That's the company, Dragonfly Energy, that makes Battleborn batteries. They were saying that this company is kind of like a rat in a corner. And the reason they say that is because the company has a lawsuit against them by a I think with the plaintiffs is a very well-renowned electronics engineer and tester, that they're cooked. They're going to destroy them. But one of the reasons that they can't, like if Microsoft or Apple or Google do something wrong to make more money, you could criticize it, and it wasn't necessary. But when you're a company that loses $40 to $60 million a year, it forces you to start making these less moral decisions because you don't have the choice to make the right one. So if you lose $40 to $70 million a year already, and you have 10 or 30 million in the bank, you're essentially cooked. So you don't have, Dragonfly Energy, in my opinion, doesn't have the option to actually do the right thing, because doing the right thing requires profit, it requires money. And if you are doing the wrong thing like they are, a lot of the times it comes down to the fact that you may not have money to actually do the right thing. They can't replace 1,000 or 5,000 batteries in the field. They can't have the engineering team redo their design. They have to do shit like look through their old data sheets and revise them and hope that nobody sees it. They have to do things like not cover warranty and come up with weird excuses for it. There's no real option to do the right thing. It reminds me of my supply company back in the day. By the way, check out the Google Pixel not being able to focus in the rain. That's some funny shit right there. My supply company was a company that sold screens. I always used to think it was really difficult to buy a good screen for a MacBook. If I bought an A1226 screen, they would sell me an LP154WP2 TLC1 instead of a TLA1. TLC1, I believe, was for Sony and Compaq. TLA1 was for Apple. And they would sell screens that had stuck pixels that I couldn't use. To them, one stuck pixel wasn't a big deal, but to somebody who's paying $150 or $300 to repair their top-tier laptop, it's very serious, and they wouldn't pay. Now they were doing this because they were able to make a little bit more money by doing things in a fucked up way. So I figured I'm going to sell products where I don't do this. I'm not going to sell MacBook screens that focus as badly as a Pixel 9 Pro smartphone. I'm going to sell good stuff. And what I noticed is when I would sell stuff on eBay, if I was even like 5 cents above the other listings that sold garbage, I didn't sell. So even if I said, these will have no stuck pixels, guaranteed. My competitor says 9 to 16 stuck pixels are acceptable according to the ISO standard. That's what Blizz Computers would say. I would say 0 stuck pixels, guaranteed, none. And if you get one with a stuck pixel, I will fucking overnight you a new one. I will overnight you a new one, and I will put a label in the box to return the old one. So instead of having to wait a week or two for the RMA process, if you got anything bad, I got you. Your customer is not going to say, fuck this, I don't want the repair anymore. Your customer will still want the repair because we treat you properly. We make sure that you get a good screen as fast as possible. We pre-test it. If it's bad, you're going to get a new one overnighted to you before you even send the old one back. Nothing worked. The only thing that worked is if I made my listing as cheap as the competitor or 1 cent cheaper. That was the difference between selling maybe 0 to 15 a day and 500 to fucking 1,000 a day. And what I wound up doing is I developed this kind of contempt for customers. And as I continued to sell stuff, at some point, I took that stuff off my listing. It's like, why am I'm not, if I'm, Like the only way to win is by being the cheapest. It's the only way anybody buys anything. And then once things were the cheapest, I started to know when people would return the screens, I always manually tested them before putting them back in the field because I never wanted somebody to get a bad return. A lot of the times, the reason that you would get a bad screen is because they would resell a bad screen without testing it that a customer sent back as defective. Now, what I noticed is about 90 out of or 95 out of 100 of my returns worked just fine. It was the customer who was usually an idiot repair shop owner that did not want to pay their technicians properly, so they would try to do the repair themselves, or they would pay somebody $7 an hour, get garbage. You know, you would get the effort that you paid for, and that person would not do the repair properly. They'd mess up the screen, or they just bought the wrong thing, or something like that. So they were, for the most part, the screens that came back were good. So at one point, I just started taking screens off the shelf that were the return shelf and sending them back to customers. And I remember thinking to myself, I will consider this screen bad if it comes back twice. If it comes back once, no. If it comes back twice, yeah. Now, most of these screens did not come back because, as I said, like 90 to 100 of those screens were fine. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm becoming what I hate. I mean, like these companies would send stuff without a care of whether or not it worked just to be the cheapest. I realized that the only way for me to sell in that industry was when I was the cheapest, because when I was not the cheapest, I wouldn't sell. And then I was developing this weird contempt for my customer, and it kind of came out of not having a profitable company. And I also noticed that the things that I chose to do were different as a result of not having a profitable company. And at some point when I noticed this, I decided to opt out of it altogether. Like I would rather, I'm not going to keep trying to fix this. I'm just going to accept defeat and leave because that's not what I wanted to do. But the point of the matter is this. I like to think of myself as a moral person, and I like to think of myself that does the right thing by customers. But in my entire life, I have never done something because I thought if I do the wrong thing, I'm going to make more profit here. What I have done in my life is I've said, I'm going to do the wrong thing because I can't afford to do the right thing. And that's a shit situation to be in. It really is. I hate being in a situation where I'm doing something that's like, wait a second. Even though 90% of these screens that come back are fine, you still got to fucking test them. You can't just send out something that somebody said didn't work. That's not right. But it was something I wound up doing because I literally could not afford a testing person. I couldn't afford to do it myself. I didn't have the time. I wasn't able to hire other people to do it. My main company treats people properly. And I think that we do a great job, and I think we earned having one of the best ratings in the industry. But that company can afford to do things properly, and that's a big part of why it does things properly. There's actual money for me to pay people something fair for them to do the job. I think it's very easy to become evil when you're not profitable. Like I think as evil as companies can become from being more from the pursuit of more profits or quarterly returns, nothing is going to sting like a company that doesn't make money. Because that's when it's not only going to test greedy people, you're also going to get tested if you're not a greedy person. Because even if you're not greedy, if you are spending more money than you make, then your company is going to die. And people that run companies that are dying can often act the same way that a starving person would react. Like, who's more likely to try and stab you to get a piece of your food? Somebody that eats 3 meals a day or somebody whose last meal was 2 weeks ago? Yeah, the interesting thing about the weather being shit is this is the day where I'm trying to test my new setup for streaming to see if it works well. And the day where I'm trying to test my new streaming setup is the day where the weather is so bad that you can't actually see the video. So when I go to view this, I won't even be able to tell if the video came out well. It's very interesting. Hey, I'm testing a very strange new setup here. A very, very complicated-ish setup. What it says on the truck is Bighorn Ram 4x4. That is a Dodge truck. It's a big Dodge truck. In America, we have big trucks, and the big trucks usually have big drivers. This does not look like Tiefenbrunnen. Not at all. Say hello to Lilia. Yeah, so the point of this stream is to see if this weird setup with mobile live streaming rig works. My phone's in airplane mode. I'm only using the Wi-Fi. I'm using the Wi-Fi to this little Peplink Transit Max Duo Pro, whatever the hell router, that has a T-Mobile and an AT&T SIM card. It's a T-Mobile and a Verizon SIM in it. And I wanted to see what the quality would be. But I can't tell what the quality is because when this camera can't focus for shit. I completely forgot that the Pixel has a worthless camera. That most of the Pixel phones have worthless cameras. They can't focus at all. But more importantly, with the rain, you also... I also forgot to turn a VPN off, which is important. This is a Peplink Transit Duo Pro Max, whatever. It has this Speed Fusion VPN shit with this smoothing turned on. With a Verizon and a T-Mobile SIM card. And some dynamic weighted bonding. It's pretty cool. I don't know. Let's see. Also, my car's air conditioner is almost maxed out, and I bought a fan, this little Peltier cooling fan thing that goes in the back of your phone. So my phone actually feels cool right now to the touch. So my phone is not, the processor is not overheating. The modem in the phone is not even working because I'm just using Wi-Fi to attach to this little wireless Peplink router over here. So we've taken out the idea of the phone getting hot, and we've also taken out like T-Mobile and AT&T being shit. It's very possible the YouTube app on Android just sucks, because I notice when people stream from iPhones using the YouTube app, it's way better. I think it's possible that the Android app version of the YouTube app is actually worse than the iPhone version. Look at it try to focus on the wiper. Let's see, what if I change cameras? Maybe it'll be better. Let's do this. Let's see if that's any better. Michael Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg. People seems really excited about that series on the 3D printer stuff. I feel less stupid spending like 3 days of my life researching all that stuff. There was a lot to read up on to make sure that I got the law right, make sure I got all the very specific reasons accurate as to why that law in New York is a steaming pile of shit. I have a Clinton. Rudolph the reindeer has a very tiny nose. Are you in the left lane going slower than a garbage truck in the right lane? You must be a Texas driver. You are a Texas driver, aren't you? You are in the left lane and you're going slower than a fucking garbage truck in the right lane. You know, there's a state senator that has a DUI. I didn't realize that one of the state senators has a DUI, like 2 of them. Driving drunk is a Texas tradition, I think. Like, you have to drive drunk in order to get elected here. Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. Hello. Hope you're having a lovely day. Oh, this over here, there's this speed bump thing that they put in the road, and everybody I notice when they go here, they put their turn signal on and they try to go around it. It's like a video game. I don't think it's actually stopped people from going 70 or 90 down this road. I see that all the time. You'll see like 2 classic cars racing each other. Man, the focus on this phone is dog shit. I'm kind of curious what the bandwidth is, though. I may find a small backpack that you can put this into. It's a Peplink Max Duo Transit Pro. If you say, how many pixels can you see? Can you see enough pixels that this seems like it's good, or is it garbage? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. So this phone is not using its 5G or LTE modem. It's connected using Wi-Fi to a Peplink Transit Duo Pro Max that has not 1 but 2 SIM cards in it with smoothing, so that if any one of them has packet loss, it's uploading to both at the same time and bonding it at the end. So phone has a fucking cooler on it. So like I can't say the phone's processing lag is bad or something. Okay, so that means that the Android YouTube app is just a piece of shit. That's pretty much the only conclusion I can get to there. Yeah, the Android app is just shit, unfortunately. Oh well. I was experimenting to see what happens. I gotta see if there's another way to stream. Has anybody made an app for Android? Like a YouTube streaming app? I know Streamlabs used to have something, but it was buggy as hell. It was garbage. I gotta see if there's a better one. It would be great if I could set the bitrate manually. Like, I would be great if you could set the bitrate manually, but I don't think they'll let you do that. The YouTube app, they've added a lot of settings and features. They've added filters and all this shit that I'll never use. But stuff like, let me set CBR, let me set the bitrate of my stream so that it doesn't crash all the time. That you're not allowed to do. Well, everybody needs privacy. Far left people need privacy, far right people need privacy. I'm not going to pay for their services one way or the other. I've gotten emails and I've gotten requests to take part in campaigns with them, and I never have. My channel is really weird at this point where I've passed a point where because I've never had a sponsor, I would be breaking my sponsorship virginity after 16 years to take one. And like, because of that, it's gone up so much. Like, if you lose your virginity at 16 or 18, like, no judgment, if you lose your virginity at 16 or 20 and it's not to the best person, you could get it. But if you lose your virginity at 40 or 50 and at 50 years old you lost your virginity to like the guy that sleeps in the parking lot of the bar drunk, it's a lot worse, right? So every time I see a sponsorship thing, it's weird because, like, I'm 37, I'm gonna be 38, and I've never taken a sponsor before. So if I take a sponsor, you're not going to want to pay me more than a few $1,000. Some of these people have literally offered me $250 to $500 in free acoustic foam, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? But like sometimes it's like, oh, well, you know, we may pay three, but we have, well, but we may give you 3,000. We have to see your demographics first, and it's like, suck my balls. It's not really worth it. It would not be worth it for me to take a sponsorship at this point unless I could retire. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm not that. It would have to be some shit where, like, the interest off of the money you paid me for this whatever I shilled, I can literally retire. And even that. Because it's not just whether or not. Because at the moment that I take a sponsorship, I feel like my channel is going to be. Like, this shit just gets taken a little less seriously. I'm not here to sell my audience to advertisers. I'm here to try and change the world and make it suck less. It would feel different if I had, like, let's say that I had 50,000 people that donated $1 a year or something. That's different because that's the users saying, I like this stuff, I find it valuable. Because I find it valuable, here's money. It's like a less weird-ass relationship than this vendor I've never heard of paid me to pretend that I give a fuck about their product. Here, listen to me try to shove this shit down your throat that I don't really even fucking care about. And now I'm gonna have to, like, make the case to you that I really cared about it even if they didn't give me money, which you know is bullshit, and I know is bullshit, and they know is bullshit. Yeah, something hit me when I saw that CEO of Dragonfly makes $622,000 a year. I don't mind you being a millionaire or a multimillionaire or a billionaire, but there's something about making money while destroying shit that's just sits really weird with me. Like that, how does that guy not go home every night and think to himself, I make the world worse and I'm getting rich off of it? Because when you have a company that loses money to that extent, what you're really saying is all these people working here could be doing something that adds value to society. And instead of doing something that adds value to society, we're making shitty batteries off of investor money and offerings. That's just a shit way to run your... I couldn't do it. I need to feel like what I'm doing has a purpose. If I don't feel like what I'm doing has a purpose, the amount of money almost doesn't even matter. Like, it'll destroy me. And I've had this happen before. I've been tested where, like, I've had opportunities to make money, to do nothing. And, like, yes, I realize how out of touch it may seem at this point in society for that to be something you complain about. But I would much rather make way less money and feel like I'm actually fucking doing something. That, like, as a result of me existing, somebody was helped, the world was slightly less shitty, rather than just sit there and take shit and shovel dirt from this hole to that hole and then back to the original. That's the way you destroy people. I think David Graeber, he died recently. Rest in peace. He had a book called Bullshit Jobs. It's very good. It talks about how if you want to destroy a man, just have him shovel dirt from here and dig a hole and then fill it back up and pay him to do it. And no matter what you pay him, it's fucking, it's torture. Because he knows that his life is based, because you know your life is based on bullshit at that point. You can't really hide it. Oh, man. There we go. go. No matter what lane you're in, it's going to be the lane that's not moving. That's a rule. It doesn't matter which lane you're in, it's the one that don't move. I look forward to watching this when I get to work and seeing what the visual quality of this was. Is the incredibly added complexity of this setup something that resulted in it working better? Or is this just as shitty as it would have been otherwise? There's really only one way to find out an answer to that one. We're going to see very soon. This couldn't be attributed with quality. Yeah, that's sad. Womp womp. That's just crazy that a flagship phone with an unlimited modern data plan still can't do a stream above 240p. Even with active cooling. Active cooling and a separate dual modem. Wow, gas is only $3.49 a gallon. Trump managed to lower it. I am so happy. My Lord and Savior brought my gas down to $3.49. I think it was $2.35 to $2.65 before he won near my house. I can't believe bagels are $8 for a set of 4 now in my grocery store. That's crazy. Yeah, I gotta find a way to get an antenna set that I put on top of the car for this. That's gonna be the real answer. Finding a way to get an antenna on top of the car, but if the cable's too long, that kind of fucks your shit up. And then that would mean that this Peplink would also just have to live in the car instead of having something that is more portable, which I don't think I want to do just yet. I also got to figure out when it comes to LTE versus 5G, how much of the superiority of 5G, if there even is any, which I contend that I'm not convinced there is how much of that superiority is upload versus just download. Oh, this is an award-winning parking spot right here. Yeah, this is the award-winning parking job. Well, that's it for today, and as always... Oh, you want to see what my car looks like? Yo, check this out. Check this out. This is funny. All right. This is a Zoom audio recorder connected to a microphone in my phone. Wow, you can't focus on anything, can you? This is a Zoom audio recorder. Yeah? That's a battery that's going to my router. Look at my router. Eh? Peplink Transit Duo Pro Max something. I got a little voice to text thing so that I can talk. Yeah, this is my car. Look at that. Look at that live stream. Eh? Well, see you later.